I'm Keegan Shivers,
I'm Nick Shivers.
and this is the Shivers Report, where you get the most up-to-date real estate information.
In the world.
And today we're talking about how Donald Trump seems to be forcing his way to make housing affordable again.
You know what? It's great. It's amazing. He's doing a great job.
That was a terrible Donald Trump
No.
impression. That was a terrible Donald Trump impression. But we're going to be going over all the crazy headlines that's been going out lately.
Mhm.
There's been 50-year mortgages. There's been portable mortgages. There's been Wall Street investors are banned from buying any properties. What do you think about everything that he's been putting out?
Love him or hate him, Donald Trump, he says things, a lot of things that I wish he wouldn't say, but he does take action. So let's jump into each one, and me and you, we might have some differing opinions, but let's start with the 50-year mortgage.
Explain to someone what that looks like, because right now we got 10, we got 15, we got 30, we got 5 going down, but it's capped at 30 as it stands right now.
Right,
When it comes
right.
to a bank mortgage that you can take out conventionally.
Yeah. Well, first of all, let's kind of look at that is very unusual. A 30-year fixed loan is very unusual in the world, right? In 1934, that's when it came into play,
Mhm.
the 30-year mortgage, and it is treated us well. It allows us in like volatile climates to get people in a stable position. It worked. It helped create wealth in America. I mean, the reality is, majority of people do not save money. So a 30-year mortgage is a forced savings.
Yeah.
You're buying down your equity, you're getting appreciation majority of the time in the long for history. Yes, that it works. So what are your takes? Do you think adding another 20 years is a good idea?
For me personally, I think it's another tool in the tool belt.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, the biggest pain point is looking at the interest being paid over time on a 50-year. It bumps up significantly.
Yeah.
But if it gives someone the opportunity to be able to get into a home and qualify
Mm-hmm.
for a home that might be out of their range right now, and they plan on living there for the rest of their lives, then is it a bad thing in my opinion? No, because I don't think a lot of people will use it.
Got it. I'm gonna go the opposite route, and I'm kind of a grumpy old man. Not everyone should own a home.
Mhm.
The reality is this, in my opinion, is that prolonging it 50 years is not creating wealth. The other concern I have is uh, which I don't think it's going to happen now with some of the things. I don't think it's going to happen, but
I agree.
I also believe that it could have increased your interest rate because there's more risk to the lenders
Mm.
on that side. So you would add a higher interest rate, and in the long term, how much would it have saved? And if you're buying a home for long-term generational wealth, I think it's fighting that. I don't think we really have to discuss it much more because I don't think it's going to happen.
I agree. I agree there. The second one that he came out with was the portable or assumable mortgages.
Yes. Yeah.
Portable.
Portable mortgages. Sounds good, and I think that's why he said it. It's never going to work. I think the investors won't participate. So that is a no, no, and another no on my end.
Yeah. Well, one of the points that I listened to was how our lender is going to be able to underwrite those
Right.
and combine everything. It just throws a lot of different aspects into the mix if you open that up to everybody who has a lower mortgage that they want to take somewhere else.
Exactly.
So the only thing though with that is it could unlock millions of sellers
Oh,
that are just sitting
I
there.
agree, but the reality is the market's doing that themselves.
Mhm.
And let's transition into the thing that I believe will really help the market, and that's Donald Trump
Yeah.
found, like last week, he found on Fannie and Freddie $200 billion on their balance sheets. Remember, Fannie and Freddie's job is not to have massive amounts of cash on their balance sheet. What Fannie and Freddie are supposed to do is keep the housing market stable and make sure that the home process is doable for American families.
Yeah.
That is a good thing. A lot of people are, this is what they're going to say. Oh my gosh, if he makes them buy mortgage-backed securities. And remember, I think he can,
Mhm.
because in 2008, 2009, Fannie and Freddie came under conservatorship from the government. Doesn't mean the government's owning it, but they're overseeing it. Who oversees it? The administration.
Mhm.
And if Donald Trump has something to say about it, he's going to say, you're buying mortgage-backed securities. And then the other thing he did at the same time, which I thought was ridiculous, and I don't think it was good for the market, because anytime there's uncertainty, but Donald Trump does that a lot. He makes people concerned. He slapped Jerome Powell with a lawsuit, or not a lawsuit, but just a indictment saying, "Hey, we're going to investigate you for going over a budget on this building for the Fed." And Sunday, Jerome Powell got on the news, which he's usually kind of subdued. He doesn't fire back with these
Yeah.
social media tweets, but he said, "Listen, I believe this is because I wouldn't lower the interest rates." So push that all aside, and that's going to go on the side.
Yeah.
Um, but the buying mortgage-backed securities is a housing, it's not a monetary policy that has the Fed. It bypasses the Fed. And I really believe he's going to be able to make that happen. And I believe it will push interest rates down.
So if that does happen, in the short term, affordability might go up a little bit, where people are able to afford housing that is outside of their budget right now.
Currently.
But that has nothing to do with the supply shortage that we have with not enough homes.
Okay, so let's talk about that, because again, there's difference of opinion out
Mhm.
there on. I think when you make a blanket statement, because nothing's ever black or white,
Yeah.
right? When you make a blanket statement that there's not enough homes, the fact is that's not necessarily true in
Mhm.
certain price categories. And it also depends on certain neighborhoods in certain areas. Florida, Texas. I mean, they had a lot of building, because remember, the more the builders can build,
Yep.
the more supply that hits the market. So you got to look at the area
Yeah.
and the type of home. So I believe, because historically they said 6 months of inventory is a balanced market.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily believe that's true anymore. I believe it is less. The statistics are from an old model. We're seeing less housing formation start. They're starting later, and people move less.
Mhm.
So, um, yes, if we do hit in certain areas a shortage of supply, what lack of supply and demand picks up, what is that going to do negatively?
Mhm.
What is it? What's it going to do? A lack of supply and increased demand is going to
Gonna
what?
make prices go back up again.
Yep. And we don't want that.
Yeah.
And I think there's a and that is the concern
Yeah.
about this. And it happened in Canada,
Yep.
when Canada, the government got involved with making sure interest rates are down. I mean, what is Canada's average sales price right
It's in
now?
the 700,000s now.
700,000, and we're roughly
400. Yeah.
nationwide, roughly, depending on where we're talking in Oregon and Washington, it's roughly around 475
Yep.
in certain areas. So that is a concern. I still like it. It helps the housing market, mortgage, title, escrow, construction, real estate,
Yeah.
which has been in a recession since June of 2022.
Yeah. And if you can get it to the point where builders are building again because the interest rates are at a price point that makes it make sense, that's always a great thing as well.
So I guess old guy thinks it's a good idea. Young guy,
I think it's a good idea as well.
mortgage-backed securities purchased by Freddie and Fannie. It's a thumbs up from both the Shivers.
But what do you think about the ban on institutional investors?
Okay. Number one, again, Trump's great at sound bites.
Yep.
He's been doing the art of the deal for a long time.
Because based on conversations that I've had, people think that is a giant chunk of why housing has become so unaffordable, is because all Wall Street investors, the big bad BlackRock and Blackstone, are buying up everything
Right.
around the corner. But that's just not the case.
It's not true. Depending on what data set you're looking at, it's 1 to 2% nationwide.
Yep.
Now there are certain areas, Las Vegas, certain areas. I posted this on Facebook and somebody responded saying, "Hey Nick, it's around 10% here." And I go, what data source?" He showed me the data source. So there's certain neighborhoods and it is up to 10% in Florida, certain areas in Florida, or Orlando, Atlanta,
Yep.
Texas areas. There are up to 10%. Now, again, I don't like anytime government gets involved and tells a private homeowner who they can sell to.
Yeah.
So I don't like that. But again, those institutional investors get preferred rates. And if they are competing against homeowners, and they're not reselling them, because remember, there's certain institutional investors that buy and hold, take supply out of the market.
Yep.
And there's certain institutional investors that buy, fix up, and put on the market. So that doesn't take a supply out of the market. It actually has improved the neighborhood with fixing up the properties
Yep.
and putting it on the market. So I think you got to differentiate about those two as well.
Yeah. If there's one thing that you can take away, it's Trump is trying everything that he can to make affordable housing one of the biggest things on every headline you see right now.
Yeah.
It's like every single week, every couple of days, something else is coming out to get it to be a main topic.
And I believe he will get interest rates down. That's one thing that I believe will happen. And he knows it's important if he is going to survive the midterms.
What do you think his goal is for interest rates? What do you think it could get to by the end of next year?
I
The Nick Shivers best guess.
Now, 2 weeks ago, I would say I was saying if we got even in the like 5.75 to 6%, we would be in good shape. I think now it might get a little bit lower, maybe mid fives. Nothing, and I don't want it to get below that because we don't want rapid appreciation.
Yeah.
We want normal appreciation in this market.
Yeah, I think it's important that we don't throw too many external factors at the market again, like we had in 2021 that caused a blow up of just insane appreciation.
Yeah.
Anything like that again, I think would be a net negative for the economy, the housing economy, long term.
I agree.